There is a song you don't talk about, not because you've forgotten it, because it still does something to you that you can't explain to anyone who wasn't there. One specific song, one specific band. And when it comes on, you're not 50 anymore. You're not the career, the mortgage, the family, the responsibilities. You are 16, or 19, or 22, and something in your chest that you learn to keep very, very quiet opens. Neuroscientists have a name for what's happening in that moment. But for Gen X, it points to something much bigger than a memory. It points to a version of yourself that never left. One that is still carrying something, and still needs, quietly, privately, when no one is watching, to hear that someone else felt it too. My name is David, and if you still play that music alone, this one is for you. You know exactly which song it is. Maybe it starts with those first few guitar chords. Maybe it is a specific quality of voice, raw and unpolished, and somehow more honest than anything produced before or since. Maybe it is a lyric that you memorized at 16 and have never fully forgotten, even though you have forgotten 1,000 other things since then. And when it comes on, something shifts. Not the way any other song shifts something. This is different. This goes somewhere specific. Somewhere that most of your daily life, the meetings and the responsibilities and the noise of everything that needs to be handled, simply cannot reach. You have probably tried to explain it to someone who didn't grow up with this music, and watched their polite confusion, and given up trying, because what happens when that song comes on is not really explainable to someone who wasn't there. It is not just memory. Memory is something you think about. This is something you feel, in your body, in your chest, in a specific place where the 15 or 20-year-old version of you still lives, quietly, persistently, waiting for something to reach them, and that song reaches them, every time, like coming home, to a version of yourself you thought was gone, but wasn't, was never gone, just waiting for the right song to come back on. To understand why this music still does what it does, you have to understand what it actually was, not what it looked like from the outside. Not the flannel shirts and the distorted guitars and the cultural moment that magazines documented and the music industry eventually swallowed and commodified until there was almost nothing real left. What it actually was, for the generation that grew up with it. Grunge was the first time, for many of you, that you heard your own inner life played out loud. Think about what the world was telling Gen X in the late 80s and early 90s. Be responsible. Be practical. Figure it out. Don't be so sensitive. Don't feel so much. Toughen up. The world doesn't care about your feelings. And frankly, neither does anyone around you. And then, through a cheap stereo or a pair of headphones or a late-night radio station, something completely different arrived. Music that was confused. Music that was angry. Music that was tender underneath the noise in a way that felt almost unbearably honest. Music that said, clearly, loudly, without apology, I don't have it figured out either. I feel too much too. I don't fit either. And I am not going to pretend otherwise. Kurt Cobain didn't just write songs. He gave an entire generation permission. Permission to feel what they were already feeling. Permission to be sensitive in a world that called sensitivity weakness. Permission to be confused in a world that demanded certainty. And for a generation that had been quietly carrying all of that alone. That permission was everything. There's a reason this music hits differently than anything else. And it is not just sentiment. It is not just habit. It is not even just the quality of the music itself. Though the music was genuinely extraordinary. It is neuroscience. Researchers who study music and memory have identified something they call the Reminiscence Bump. The phenomenon where songs heard during the most emotionally intense period of a person's life, roughly between the ages of 12 and 25, become encoded in the brain in a fundamentally different way than music heard at any other time. These songs don't just get stored as memories. They get wired directly into the brain's emotional memory system, into the same neural pathways that carry the feelings, the actual physical feelings of the experiences they were connected to, which means that when you hear that song now, at 50, your brain doesn't just retrieve a memory of being 16. It retrieves the feeling of being 16, the confusion, the longing, The specific kind of aliveness that comes from being young and unfinished, and full of something that hasn't yet found its shape. The music takes you back there. Not in your mind, in your body, in your chest. That is not nostalgia. That is neurology. And it explains why no other music, no matter how good, no matter how much you enjoy it, will ever do quite what this music does. Because no other music arrived when your brain was wiring itself around feeling. Can I take you back for a moment? Not to the music itself. To who you were when you first heard it. Somewhere between 15 and 25. Still figuring out who you were. Still carrying things. Feelings, questions, a kind of ache that you couldn't fully name. That nobody around you seemed to understand or particularly want to talk about. Maybe your home was complicated. Maybe your friendships didn't go deep enough to hold what you were actually feeling. Maybe you were the capable one, the reliable one, the one who had it together from the outside, while on the inside something was searching for something it couldn't find. And then, through a cheap stereo or a borrowed cassette tape, or a pair of headphones that blocked out the world for a few minutes, someone sang exactly what you were feeling. Not approximately, not in the general vicinity. Exactly. The confusion that you couldn't articulate. The anger that you didn't fully understand. The tenderness underneath everything that the world kept telling you to hide. Someone sang it. And something in you, that part that had been carrying all of it quietly and alone, exhaled. For the first time, maybe for one of the first times, you felt less alone. Not because someone fixed anything. Not because anyone around you suddenly understood. But because somewhere, through a speaker, a voice said, "I feel it too." And that was enough. That was more than enough. That was everything. Here is what I want you to sit with for a moment. That version of you. The 15 or 20-year-old who needed that music so badly. Never fully left. He didn't graduate and disappear. She didn't get left behind when the adult life started building itself around her. They didn't stop existing when the responsibilities arrived and the routine set in, and the years started moving faster than anyone expected. They are still in there, still carrying some of what they carried then. The questions that never got fully answered. The feelings that got managed and navigated but never completely resolved. The parts of the inner life that the adult world didn't have room for that got quietly set aside but never actually went away. And occasionally, privately, in the quiet moments that belong only to you. They need something, not therapy, not a conversation, not even necessarily to be fully understood by another human being. Just to hear one more time that someone else felt it too, that the confusion was real, that the sensitivity was not weakness, that the ache underneath everything had a name and a sound and a voice that understood it without needing it explained. And you know exactly where to find that. You have always known. It is in the music. It has always been in the music, waiting exactly where you left it. So the next time someone raises an eyebrow, the next time someone makes a comment about the music coming through your speakers, the next time someone implies, gently or not so gently, that maybe it is time to move on, to listen to something more appropriate for where you are in life, to leave the 90s behind. Here is what you can know, quietly, without explaining it to anyone. You are not living in the past. The people who live in the past are the ones who cannot engage with the present, who use memory as an escape from reality, who refuse to acknowledge that time has passed and things have changed. That is not what this is. You are not refusing to grow up. Growing up means developing capacity to handle complexity, to sustain relationships, to contribute something real to the world. You've done all of that. The music has nothing to do with any of it. What you are doing, when you put on that album, when you turn up that song, when you give yourself those few minutes with that music, is checking in on a version of yourself that still exists, that still matters, that still deserves, occasionally privately, to be heard and understood and told that what it felt was real. That music was always more than music. It was proof that you existed, that what you felt was real, that your inner life, the confused, sensitive, searching inner life of a generation that was never given quite enough room, was worth making art about. And it still is. I want to leave you with something simple. You didn't outgrow that music, and it didn't outgrow you. It stayed exactly where you left it. in the part of you that still remembers what it felt like to be young and unfinished and searching, in the neural pathways that were laid down during the most formative years of your life, in the emotional memory that no amount of time or responsibility or adult competence can fully overwrite. It stayed. And every time you need it, really need it, in that quiet, private way that has nothing to do with anyone else, it is there, exactly as you left it. The guitar still sounds like what confusion felt like. The voice still sounds like what honesty felt like. The whole beautiful, imperfect, searching mess of it still sounds like what it felt like to be alive and young, and carrying something the world didn't have a name for yet. And every time you put on, you find that proof again, that you existed, that what you felt was real, that the version of you who first heard that music, who needed it so badly, who was so relieved to finally hear their inner life reflected back, was worth listening to, is still worth listening to, quietly, privately, exactly when you need it, exactly as you always have.